Well, this is a quick video for updating you on a couple of topics. The very first thing I want to mention is, QRI is going to be holding a event on the 20th of November in Frontier Tower in San Francisco. Link in the description. I just wanted to, for big fans of the channel and of Qualia Research Institute and people who are like passionate about these topics, yes, please RSVP. As soon as possible. These spots are gonna, be gone very soon. I just wanted to give, an opportunity for the hardcore fans of this channel to actually see that and have like a chance to actually register before we announce it more broadly. The second thing I want to mention is, like there's so many things I can talk to you guys about, like really so many, like I was like making a list of possible videos that I could actually make, and like there was like 35, and I still kept going, and each of those is kind of like new content, a full like hour longs of like mostly information that I have actually not talked about. So there's a lot. um but before I start kind of the next chapter of the channel, I wanted to actually get your take. Like, what do you like about the channel? Like, what kind of topics do you find the most useful, entertaining, fascinating? What makes you come back again and again? And what do you want to know? I mean, like, I have to share the fact that my meditation has continued to progress in startling and fascinating ways, as well as when I've experimented with 5-MeO DMT in legal settings. um yeah, no, these the experiences have continued to evolve. You know, I've recently had like this very extraordinarily, stunning set of experiences that I can only equate with something akin to like the phenomenology of the Lotus Sutra and meeting hyperdimensional Buddha minds. It's something that didn't happen, until I already had something like 1,000 experiences of both DMT and 5-MeO DMT, and like only then, like these things started to happen. So I'd be very happy to talk at length about that. There's also like a lot of like super pragmatic suffering reduction things that I can talk about, like for example, minimizing chances of bad trips, um, how to prevent kidney stones, how to reverse tolerance to benzodiazepines. There's some new information there. Of course, yeah, like updating you on like the core projects of QRI. I'm gonna be doing a lot more of that like after the November 20th. But yeah, if there's anything that you're dying to know or you're curious, yes, please drop a line. Um, anything having to do with, for example, philosophy of mind, consciousness versus replicators, the binding problem, topological segmentation, causal efficacy, of course, valence, theories of valence, theories of how like different fields of different dimensions interact with one another in order to fabricate the world simulation, theories about, for example, DMT entities, theories about deity yoga, like what is going on with deity yoga. I can also talk about the phenomenology of scent. We continue to do scent explorations, not nearly as much as during the pandemic years when I was kind of like stuck in my apartment, so I had a lot of time to actually just like play with scents. These days I'm traveling a lot, like actually. um I'm Mr. Worldwide, guys. I've become Mr. Worldwide. drop a drop a worldwide emoji in the comments. Um I was talking to ChatGPT about that. It's like, what does it mean to be Mr. Worldwide? Okay, I think I don't quite qualify, but I'm getting close. I'm getting close, guys. Um, yeah, I can also talk about like various, commercially viable applications of QRI technologies, various things that I'm happy to give away, various things that I would love to find collaborators with, possible co-founders, especially in the medical domain. Things, for example, involving like the visualization of pain, uh, there's also a whole bunch of things having to do with like nonlinear optics, liquid crystals, how they fit into the broad picture, how like path integrals fit into the picture, the idea that like you actually are the superposition of all possible states within your topological pocket. I also can talk a lot about like specific exotic states of consciousness you can access, weird meditation techniques that I have developed and I enjoy and I find fascinating. I can also talk about like sociological observations, theories of intelligence, um, of course, things such as like emotions, the nature of emotions, specific emotions. I can also talk about art, models of art, how I have evolved in my thinking about the nature of art and its potentialities. I can talk about festivals. I could talk about like Borderland, and of course like Burning Man and Ephemeral, and the nature of festivals, and in what way they're actually facilitating large scale quality exploration. I can also talk about like hardcore qualia research. Various like teams in the world are starting to come up and like essentially give you some reviews and some thoughts on who is doing some fascinating things on this topic. I can also talk about specific, psychological theories. Likewise, I can talk about like emerging technologies, various devices companies review, various like neurotech applications, for example, vibratory systems. What is it like to, for example, do experiments with 40 hertz or 128 hertz on yourself? What does it mean to harmonize different parts of your body with each other? Stress sharing, theories of life, um, further thoughts on personal identity, scale invariance, scale-specific network geometry, um, sociological observations about, for example, the rationalist community, the EA community, where we fit in this place. There's just so much. Okay, so I haven't even covered, like like half of it. So yeah, what do you want to know? What do you want to know? And I'll see what you guys think. As always, yeah. Infinite please. Thank you, everybody. Take care. Looking forward to this next chapter. Oh, one last thing. I'm also gonna be starting to record some like conversations. I don't want to invest the time in like framing it as like the Andres podcast or anything like that. It's just gonna be like some friendly conversations I'm gonna have with various people. Like for example, Andrew Gallimore. I'm gonna be talking to him soon, recording that conversation, putting it on the channel. Yeah, if there's specific people you want me to talk to, um, chances are we can make it happen. And of course, yes, of course, if you guys know, like personally, people who run like especially very visible, high profile podcasts, or TV shows and stuff like that, yeah, please let me know. I mean, like, I'm not I'm not like personally, kind of like cloud chasing for the sake of being famous, but I am a man on a mission, and I do believe that I have a message and a research methodology and approach and paradigms that do stand a very good chance of actually significantly reducing the suffering worldwide. And it sounds grandiose, and maybe it is a little bit. At the same time, I can absolutely justify these claims. So yes, that would be very helpful. And yeah, finally, like potential donors and funders, um, our brief, hopefully brief funding gap is still not fully solved, but I'm not worried. I'm not concerned. We have a fundraiser on November 20th, and I think it's gonna be fine. Yeah, I think QRI is gonna be funded, but there's so much room for growth. We can do so much more with more funding, or like avenues for essentially making the institute self-sustaining. So I'm like all ears in all of those topics. Okay, so infinite please, everybody. Take care. Much love.